So tonight is extra fun for me because I get to introduce our speaker, who is not only a wonderful spiritual guide, but a good friend of mine. It's wonderful to have Patti Fields here tonight. Many of you may not know that early on in our years at Spiritus Christi, Patti was on the staff here, working with religious ed, but she moved on from here to continue her own spiritual studies and to become a teacher, a student, and then a teacher of Course in Miracles. She was my teacher, and I think she's many of your teacher as well. So she's been doing that now for a number of years. She's also become an author, and she has written an extraordinary book called Dreaming Miracles, which will be released this summer. I had the great privilege of reading some of that book, and I cannot wait for it to come out. And so we're going to look forward to that this summer. And please help me give Patti a warm welcome. Patti.
A reading from the book of Genesis. Then it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh had a dream. In the morning, his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and for its wise men. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was no one who could interpret them for Pharaoh. Then the chief butler spoke to Pharaoh, saying, "Both me and the chief baker, we each had a dream the same night. There was a young Hebrew man with us there, a servant of the captain of the guard, and we told him, and he interpreted our dream for us." Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him quickly out of the dungeon. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I have had a dream, and I have heard it said of you that you can understand a dream to interpret it." Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, "It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh an answer of peace." The word of the Lord. As I enter the catacomb, I am enveloped in darkness. I have no idea where I'm going. All I know is that I need to keep moving. I step slowly toward what I think is a rock and blindly feel along its edges with my hands, while being careful not to trip or fall. The climb becomes steeper and the rocks jagged, with not much more than 6 inches of surface on which to place my feet. Below is a fiery pit of hot flames and bubbling lava. If I make one wrong move, it will all be over. Frightened and alone, I forge ahead. Each step robs me of strength and weakens my resolve. The path of darkness and struggle seems endless. I hear my hopeless thought echo off the rocks. I don't think I can survive this. As I near the top of the mountainous terrain, I place my foot on the rock. It wobbles, and I start to sway. I don't have the strength to steady myself, so I give in and free fall over the cliff. The rocks rush by in a blur. Air pushes against my face. I close my eyes and wait for the hot burning pain of the flames. I surrender to my fate with one final thought. It all ends here. But it doesn't. Suddenly, an enormous hand comes down from the heavens and swoops me up just before the flames touch me. In a blink of an eye, everything changes. No longer falling to my death, I am cradled within a soft, strong, protecting hand. No longer frightened and alone, I am comforted by a loving presence. No longer having to rely on my own strength, I am carried to safety by the hand of God. I had this dream the night I buried my baby Amanda. Before this dream, my nighttime imagery consisted of scary monsters chasing me, showing up naked to work, and forgetting my locker combination. But after Amanda died, all that I believed up until that moment suddenly made no sense. The rules that I had been taught to live by had failed me. With everything falling apart, something cracked open. And there it was, a way for God to speak to me that I didn't know existed. Realizing that my dreams could be a channel to listen to God, I began to ask a lot of questions, such as, why do we suffer? How can we be free of suffering? What's our life purpose? What heals sickness? Why do we lack abundance? How can we be free of fear? With the answers I received in dreams and visions, I soared to new heights of spiritual awareness and broke free from years of limiting beliefs and unhealthy patterns that might have otherwise taken months or even years to accomplish. But I kept all of these experiences to myself. Receiving divine messages in dreams was not spoken about in mainstream media, in Christianity, or among my peers. I never once attended a party, let alone a spiritual class or retreat, and heard someone say, "Hey everyone, God spoke to me in a dream last night." I concluded that I am either weird or it's taboo to talk about. Until one day, at a local library book sale, among thousands of books, a small book titled "Dreams, A Way to Listen to God" caught my eye. What I found most intriguing, and the reason why I opened the book, was that the author, Morton Kelsey, is a priest. I was surprised to find a Christian leader writing about receiving channeled messages in dreams. I flipped open the book and read Kelsey's personal account of his discovery of spiritual dreaming. It was during a difficult time, he writes, that a friend advised me to pay attention to my dreams. I soon noticed a wisdom greater than mine that spoke to me in my dreams and came to my aid. As I began to deal with my dreams, I looked for commentaries on dreams. There was nothing to be found. Here I was, a Christian pastor, interested in dreams, but unable to find any Christian books about them or any friends who believed in them. Feeling like an oddball, I began to examine the Bible for stories that mentioned dreams. I was amazed to find dreams everywhere. Kelsey goes on to report this astonishing statistic. Out of 7,957 verses in the New Testament, 3,874 verses mention the spiritual gifts of healing, discerning spirits, dreams and visions, extrasensory perception, and prophecy. I think Carl Jung said it best. We have forgotten the age-old fact that God speaks chiefly through dreams and visions. Do you know there is a spiritual reality within your own mind that you can experience anytime, anywhere? Do you know that there is a spiritual answer to every problem you encounter, and this can be found within you? Our minds are not just containers for random thoughts and unconscious beliefs. Our dreams are not just about what we ate for dinner or what feelings we have repressed during the day. When we allow God to speak to us in dreams, we become open to profound changes that not only affect ourselves and those closest to us, but also the world around us. We all have the ability to connect to this level and receive spiritual messages. It's just a question of how deep within our minds we are willing to go. So think of our mind as a building with many floors. The first floor contains our daily mental activity, all the thoughts we are conscious of during our waking life. This mental activity thinking helps us function at work, complete tasks, have coherent conversations, and fulfill our basic responsibilities. From the first floor, we go down to the basement where our beliefs, memories, judgments, and thought patterns are stored, generally referred to as the ego. This is the unconscious level we normally dream from, but it is not the lowest level in the house. From the basement, we find a passageway that leads down to another level where our spiritual insights are stored, where we can have a direct experience of God, where we can find spiritual answers to our problems, where we can receive guidance, where we can discover creative ideas that have not been thought of before. John Newton, author of Amazing Grace, Albert Einstein, Saint Teresa, Paul McCartney, Keith Richards, the inventor of the periodic table and the sewing machine, Abraham, Jacob, Jeremiah, and Peter have one thing in common. They all received their creative inspirations in a dream. Now, not all dreams are divine inspirations, however. An article written by Jim Beckerman reiterates a story that Alfred Hitchcock used to tell about a screenwriter who was sure his dreams contained million-dollar ideas, if only he could just remember them. He finally placed a pad and pencil by his bed so he could write down his dreams during the night. In the morning, with great anticipation, he looked at what he had written. The note read, "Boy meets girl." Dreaming of pink elephants swimming in a backyard pool is not a divine message telling you to go out and buy a swimming pool. It is the unconscious mind creating an imaginary world of symbols that interact in a chaotic and nonsensical way. Other types of dreams bring to the surface repressed feelings and judgments so we can become conscious of them. For example, if our boss reprimands us at work, we might dream that we are on stage and everyone is laughing at us. This dream is helping us get in touch with our deepest feelings of shame and inadequacy. And this is a good thing. Awareness is the first step in the healing process, and dreams can facilitate this. But spiritual dreams are different. They are God's way of speaking to us and our opportunity to listen. They provide new and surprising insight that cannot be gained through the intellect or from the ego. They change the way you look at things. They guide you to take unexpected action. They heal limiting beliefs and unhealthy patterns, and they give you a direct experience of God. Now, if you do accept that God communicates through dreams, you then might wonder, how do you go from dreaming of pink elephants to receiving spiritual insights? So I'd like to offer you 3 key ingredients that will enrich your nighttime dreams. Number 1, be open to new and surprising answers. Number 2, value your dreams. And number 3, be honest about your feelings, thoughts, and fears. So let's look at the first key ingredient. Be open to new and surprising answers. I love Thomas Edison's quote, "Never go to sleep without a request to your subconscious." And I will add, expect the unexpected when you get an answer. I'm pretty sure Moses, traveling up the mountain, was shocked to see a burning bush. And Samuel, when he finally answered the voice calling to him night after night with, "Here I am, Lord," was surprised to hear a message foretelling a future event. And just like Moses and Samuel, I too am surprised by the messages I receive in dreams and visions. One evening, during a conversation with a friend, I became very disturbed. Her criticism, her disregard for my opinions, and disdain for my choices rattled me. Feeling very unsettled, I made up an excuse to leave and I returned home. I was so hurt by what had transpired that I considered ending our friendship. As I fell asleep that night, I asked for guidance on what to do. And here was my surprising answer. In the dream, I enter a house and stand in the living room. The group's friendly conversation puts me at ease in my new surroundings. Beep. I flinch at the pitching, piercing sound. I look around, concerned, but no one else seems to be worried. A man says, "No worries. The alarm just means the electric system is turning on." Suddenly, the TV and lamps flash on and then off. So relieved, I walk to the kitchen. I see a happy couple standing at the sink. They are enjoying each other's company and having a lovely time. The woman's ring slips off her finger. Laughing, she reaches into the garbage disposal. Beep. Remembering what the alarm means, I quickly shut my eyes, but I still see squirting blood spray the countertop, mangled fingers fly through the air, and the look of terror in her eyes. I feel sick. With my eyes still closed and shaking from what I just witnessed, I hear a calm inner voice ask, "How do you know what's happening? You have your eyes closed." When I awoke, I was astonished at this answer. What? No guidance on speaking my mind, setting my boundaries, getting a new friendship? No. This dream was showing me that I was upset because I had given the meaning to all of her words. And instead of guiding me to talk to her, the Spirit guided me to question what is the meaning I have given it, and to remain open to the spiritual insights that God wanted to give me. Now, I did follow this advice, and you know what? The hurt disappeared. And later, when I shared this experience with my friend, she informed me that what I thought she was saying was not what she meant at all. It was the exact opposite. She was complimenting me, not criticizing me. So remember this: when we are seeking a spiritual solution in a dream, divine answers do not repeat back to us what we already know. They make known to us the wisdom of God. And the second key ingredient I would like to share with you is to value your dreams. This is equally important to hearing God's messages. How many times do we say, "Oh, it was just a dream"? Or we wake up the next morning, brush our dreams aside, and get on with our day. I have had many dreams that I was tempted to disregard, but didn't, and later discovered the astounding spiritual messages that they contained. Your dreams are important. Even if you dream of forgetting your locker combination, there are gold nuggets in that dream that can help you in your waking life. The simple fact is, the more you appreciate your dreams, the more insights you will receive. To do this only takes just a few minutes a day. Before getting out of bed, pause to ask yourself, did I have a dream last night? And then write down any symbol and feeling you can remember. And then when you have more time, contemplate how this message is helpful to you. Now, the third ingredient that I would like to share is to receive a spiritual dream, it is important to be honest about how you are thinking and feeling. In other words, you have to be willing to explore every floor in your mind, including the basement. You know, we love sprucing up our first floor living area. We paint the walls, we buy new furniture, we clean out the closets, all the while the boxes of stuff clutter the basement. So likewise, we recite positive affirmations, we pray for spiritual insights, and we are mindful of our words and our actions while trying to ignore the uncomfortable, unpleasant, unconscious thoughts and feelings that lurk in the basement of our unconscious mind. Now, I have discovered that the less afraid we are of what is in the unconscious mind, the more we let it rise to our conscious awareness, the more effective our affirmations, prayers, and mindful practices are, and the greater chances you will have to discover the deeper level of the unconscious mind where spiritual wisdom abides. So these 3 ingredients: be open to new and surprising answers, value your dreams, be honest about your feelings and thoughts and fears, have helped my spiritual dreams become more consistent, effective, and miraculous. So now, after years of dreaming, I don't hesitate to share my experiences. You will often hear me say to others who are speaking about their challenges, "Oh, I've had a dream about that." And off I go, describing the dream or vision that answers our deepest questions and concerns. I love the impact this has on others. Not only do they realize the amazing resource available to us, my dreams and visions are proof that anyone at any time, no matter how much pain or fear they are in, has the ability to receive support, guidance, and healing through their dreams. A Course in Miracles writes, "God gives no special favors, and no one has any powers that are not available to anyone." Spiritual dreams and visions are everyone's gift. We all dream. Even if you don't think you dream, science has proven that you do. And even though you might not yet have accessed spiritual wisdom in your dreams, it is there. God is speaking to you from deep within your mind. Why not begin listening tonight?